and welcome to episode 50 of the Weekly Whisper. I'm your host, Elian Habanero, and I'm here to talk all things 365 pro wrestling, just as I've done all year. This is going to be like a State of the Union address for 365 as to what you can look forward to coming up in the next year, as that's pretty much a wrap on 2020. Briefly, I just wanted to say, when I found out PWA was closing down and they were starting 365, I thought this was the perfect timing for the next chapter of my career to kind of transition not just into being wrestling, but also into some kind of social media guy. And I thought, what better than a weekly news show? And I'm pretty proud of myself. I banged out 50 episodes, even though some of the, it wasn't ideal conditions at some point. There was a lot of months of no wrestling, but that's just the way it worked out. And I'm still pretty proud that I was able to stick with my guns, and I didn't give up, and I just went through it. So I really enjoyed doing the Weekly Whisper, and I hope you enjoyed it too. And just a brief rundown. After all was said and done, 365 Pro Wrestling's debut year, they held 12 events throughout the year. We had 9 in British Columbia and 3 in Ontario. And if you want to really look at that, go back to episode 48 with my guest Paul Wright and myself. We talked about the entire year in review, or episode 49 also covers a lot of that when we gave out the awards. And considering, all things considering, 365 had a pretty stellar debut year, and obviously a bright future looking forward. And I'm happy that I just signed on to do more next year. The Weekly Whisper will be back. Brief hiatus because as of right now, BC's looking like Ontario. There are a lot of restrictions in place. Everything is on hold as far as live events and the Pro Wrestling Academy, the wrestling school there, until at least January 8th, 2021. So people are going to be wrapped up in the holidays and whatnot. So instead of just doing 1 or 2 last episodes with nothing wrestling related to talk about, I figured I'd end it on 50, a nice round number, 50. And I really hope that this is not going to last too long, and we can bring it back in BC, we can bring it back in Ontario, and I will be back as well as soon as we have stuff to whisper about. And so some highlights of what we can look forward to. Like 365 is every day, all day, 365 days a year, and there's going to be a lot of new content coming out in the new year, regardless of if the restrictions remain in place or not. They're bringing back the podcast, which has kind of been on break for a little bit, and the first one of the new year, or of the second season, I guess, of the podcast, will drop January 1st with special guest Nolan James. I personally am really looking forward to that one. And then also January 1st, good way to kick off the new year with your Nolan podcast, and also they will be doing, they'll stream all 5 Adrenaline episodes that were released at some point, at different points in the last couple of months. But several of the talent will be also taking part in these streams, and we'll be there if you want to interact with them, ask them questions, or just hear their take on things. So that's going to be a really fun time. That's going to be 11 p.m. Pacific time and 2 p.m. Eastern time on New Year's Day. Great way to ring in the new year with your 365 superstars. And they're also going to be returning on Twitch every Thursday. They're going to be doing the where the wrestlers pick their top 5 matches, or just any 5 matches, whatever their reasons may be, and then they stream it on Twitch, and the wrestlers, or it could be any talent, there might be managers, referees, I'm not sure. It's going to be a lot of, those are going to be going on Thursdays at 4 p.m. Pacific time and 7 p.m. Eastern time, and I've even been reached out to do one, and the way the TV guide looks right now, I think I'm going to be the first episode in January. So after a couple weeks, if you're missing hearing my voice and seeing my face on the Weekly Whisper, there'll be plenty of Elian to go around. And I also do a Twitch stream, usually Sunday to Thursday on my Twitch stream, Elian Habanero. I play some 365 Headbutts, which is sponsored by 365, and I enjoy that. And speaking of video games, there's a lot of rumors swirling around that there's going to be an NHL 21 tournament on PlayStation, so you have to have it on PlayStation, featuring past and present members of 365, and we've got about 7 rumored names already, so we could get it to like 8 or 16 would be a good number, and you know I'm going to be making wagers on that and getting invested and chirping people on that, but these aren't confirmed, but some of the names I've read that will be possibly participating would be Haviko, BJ Lorado, Lenny Lilac, Eddie Osborne, Ref Jonah, Brandon Hines, Nolan James, so get in on that. It's going to be a lot of fun, and even for me, I don't even have PlayStation, so let's start a GoFundMe to get Elian a PlayStation. But it's going to be fun to watch and see some of these matchups take place and see how the tournament runs out and who's your money on, or are you going to get it and beat all these people. So I just wanted to say thanks so much. I couldn't have done it without my cameraman, without my editor, without all my great guests. We had Sabrina Kyle, Joey Allen, Tex Lexus, Paul Wright was on. I really appreciate them. I really appreciate Dr. Walls and all the staff at 365 Management for giving me some exclusive things to announce, and also just promoting the Weekly Whisper on their platform constantly, and the Azzy Show, who streams it usually every Tuesday or Wednesday. Really appreciate him and his people over there at the Azzy Show on Twitch, so make sure you give them a follow as well. And just everyone that ever watched it, or even if you just shared it, or liked it, or comment, we'll get into that after. But and all the people involved with 365, the management, the roster, anybody that gave me something to talk about and made my job so fun, because I really enjoyed doing this. I probably enjoyed doing it more than some people even enjoyed watching it. I just really always thought this was something I could do, and I was able to prove to myself that I could. And I hope that you have some good things to say as well. But if you could just maybe give me something in the comments section as what you thought of it, what new improvements you would like to see when the Weekly Whisper, I don't know if it'd be Season 2 or we'll just start at Episode 51. I'm not sure how that's going to work. But it's going to be great to see wrestling coming back, and I just wish 365 can even have a better year than they did in 2020, just because hopefully the restrictions will lift, and we'll see stuff going on in Ontario, and we'll see a lot more opening up in BC. It's been very limited, but major props to 365 for doing all that they could with what they had. They were given the cards they were dealt, and they played them really well in my opinion. So please just make sure you, one last time, give me a like, or you get a leg drop, a comment, or you get a clothesline, subscribe, or you get a suplex, and share, or you get a sleeper. I'm Elian Habanero. I'm your host. I love doing the Weekly Whisper. I love wrestling. Cuba!